Hello everybody, it's Andy here from AM Media Games, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to use the modeling tools in Unreal Engine 5. Now, it's not going to be a full-on in-depth tutorial, it's going to be a basic to get you started, get you used to using it. Now, it's really good practice to use all these awesome tools that they have set up in the modeling mode. If you're on earlier versions, such as like 5.0, 5.1, if you go to plugins, you can enable in the modeling tools in there. In the newer versions, it's automatically activated by default. The ground box or rectangle or cube. We have the ground cube that it always places default for us. What we can do is we can delete that. And if you're going to be creating like a level indoor scene, corridors or house, something where your player would spend most of the time internally inside of a building rather than external outside of a building, you can use the cube grid tool, which will give you a really good way to set up corridors for your level. So if you're making a horror game, for example, it's not limited to horror games, but as an example, if you're making a horror game, when you open up the cube grid, so you go to modeling tools and you go to create and you open up the cube grid tool, we can see here we have 1 by 1 meter square grid pattern, and on the left side over here we have a power of 5, which makes up our 1 meter, and we can lower this down to create a smaller or less thick wall if you must, or we can increase this up to larger. So let's go back into cube grid, and we can see we can increase and influence the grid power up to 10 meters, and doing this, we can also set up really quick corridors. So let's give an example. So let's do top down. Actually, no, we'll just do perspective. So if we place on our cube grid and hold shift and then left click, we can set up a wall super easy for any length that we like. So we can go to our blocks here, and we can see here blocks per step. Let's move that over a little bit so we can read all the writing. This is how many blocks it's going to go up when we press E or Q. So when we press E, we create, and when we press Q, we're going to destroy. So if I press E once, you can see that it goes up by 1 block. If I press Q, we go down by 1. So if we change this to 12 and I press E once, so let's select those points and press E, we can see here we have 12. Press E and there we have a wall. It's a really quick and efficient way to create or block out your corridor scene for maybe like a horror game or something that you're working on. So I want to select this one and press E, and then this one and this one, press E. So here we can see that we have corridors already coming together. So we can go all the way over here, hold shift and left click and press E. So this is an easier method, and when we click accept, we have these walls. Now you might be wondering, but how do I texture these individual faces? So to do that, we can go down to attributes. The layout will be different if you're on earlier versions. In 5.3, this is the new standard layout. In 5.1, I believe it's a little bit different to this. So you go down to attributes, and you're going to go for edit materials. And when we go into edit materials, you'll notice that whenever we use Unreal Engine, it always converts the faces to triangles. So if you're used to using things like Blender, you'll notice that we have these quads. Excuse me. And when you export this mesh, this plane, into Unreal, it will connect two of these points up to create triangle faces. So we can select these faces, left click, and highlight them, and we can give it an individual array element. So we can go down to here and we can add one. So we have a new indexed array, we have a new material added, and then we can go to active material, select none, which is the new one we just created. And then when we scroll down, we'll see this large button called Assign Active Material. So the active material is anything that you have highlighted or selected in this panel here. So we click None, and then we're going to click Assign Active Material. So what this has just done is, originally all of these faces were index 0, so it was this material. Now this one is index 1. So if we go on to here, let's go out a little bit, and we select a new material, excuse me, let's say stone, and we select that, we can see here now that we have our stone selected on our wall, but the only one that's changed is the one that we highlighted. So if we want to also have this one with the same material, we can left click and left click to highlight these two triangles, these two faces, and then we have active material brick cut stone, which is index 1, and then all we do then is click Assign Active Material. And you can see here in this corner we have these two faces that didn't get selected, so just click and click, or you can click and drag. If you hold shift and click, it will deselect, so you can select with shift, with left click. If you hold shift, it will deselect them. So we're going to select these two faces, we'll do it once more, we'll go active material, select our second array, and then assign, and then when we click accept, we now have this side of the wall as the grid pattern material, and this side of the wall as our stone cut stone wall. You can do this with any of the faces, so even it's on an edge like this, it's exactly the same process. You select these two triangles and these two triangles. You can select as many as you like, and you can also go backwards. So if we select all of these faces and we go to active material and we want to change our mind, we don't want it to be this one anymore, so we go to active material, world grid material, and then click assign, and then click accept, and it's all back to normal again. So I hope this video helps, gives you a better way of creating levels. I'm pretty sure that most of you are probably used to doing it something similar to this, where you get a shape, you squash it down, you bring it up, you stretch it out, and there we have a roof, right? And then you go, oh, but I need a wall, so we go E, and we then hold Alt, and then we flip that round, and then we go, oh, that's a little bit big, it's fine, it can stick out. But then you end up with little issues like light bleed, or or light materials not kind of working, light maps looking a little bit weird because you've got overlapping. So if you had, let's say you had a wall and you had a room with a continuous, the light on this face is going to be calculated across the mesh, so you end up with light issues or light problems as well, so, or shadow artifacts. So just be careful or cautious of doing it this way. There's nothing wrong with doing it if you're just going to block out your level this way, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, it's good practice to get used to using the cube grid. It's there for that reason, it makes it easier. But yeah, I hope this video helps for some people that have been asking for these kind of tutorials. Like the video if you like it, dislike it even if you dislike it. Subscribe to the channel to help support it. Thanks so much for watching, taking your time to watch it. I hope it helped, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye bye for now.